This electric kit is a large frame kit. It comes with a hub motor connected to the swinging arm, hydraulic master cylinder behind there, and a hydraulic caliper. It is disc brake. This all comes built up, ready to go in, ready to ride. You have a control box over here. You have a plastic tub which replaces your petrol tank. It goes in the top. You can carry your charger in that to charge your new fuel source, which is your battery. Over here you have your battery tray, which mounts where your engine used to be. So your new fuel source, new fuel tank is on the side of the scooter. Here you have a throttle cable, a clutch cable. That goes to a little black box, which is a TPS box, throttle position sensor, and clutch cutout. So you pull the clutch in, this motor cuts out completely. Over here you have a headlight bulb and two LED tail strips in that bag. So LED front, LED rear lights. In the bag you also receive a battery gauge. Now the battery gauge does come on a little triangular plate, which normally mounts under the seat. So you lift your seat, look at your battery gauge, see what percentage your battery's on. Step one of the installation, get your swinging arm with your hub motor attached, slide it into the frame, get your engine bar. Your engine bar used to go from the engine side through the frame. You are now going to put it through from the other side, the glove box side through, so that the nut sits on this side of the frame, so you can put your battery tray on, line it up. Step two of the installation, get your battery tray, which you see over here. Now this is just one version of a battery tray that we have. We also do offer a battery tray for the leg shield with a spare wheel cover. This particular tray goes on the engine side. We do have another battery tray for the glove box side. However, this particular scooter is only getting this engine side tray, one battery. Now, there'll be a hole in your battery tray in the front. That goes where the engine bar is. You'll notice that there is one hole on top, two at the back. So you slip this on. Now you want to get the bottom of this tray level with the floor, roughly. You can make your marks, drill your 3 holes, put your M6 bolts in. We provide that. And you just lock it up with the nut that goes on the main engine bar. Once you've drilled the holes in your frame for your battery tray, one in the front, 2 at the rear to match the tray, you'll want to take your motor's hub wire, the orange wire, feed it through the hole in the frame. That used to be your air intake for your carburetor. I'm just going to stick the wires through. Now it should sit in the indent above your engine bolt over there. Your hydraulic master cylinder has got a pipe coming off of it for the hydraulic fluid. This bottle, there's many ways to mount it. You can drill a hole in your frame if you would like to and mount it on there. The easiest way, back of the battery tray, there's already a pin welded on. It holds the battery strap in place. All you have to do, slip that on like that, put a nut on. The hydraulic system does come bled. However, you may need to adjust it according to your cable and where you want your pedal to sit. So the first bolt for your battery tray, the front one, you'll want to put this bolt from the inside out. 2 rear ones you can put from the back outwards, or you can go from the front inwards. It's entirely up to you. It does not interfere with anything at all. Now that is the battery tray fitted. All that's left to do is put the main nut on the engine bar, lock that up, make sure your shock bolt's locked up, and these 3 are locked up. And that is the motor battery tray on. Step 3 is going to consist of 3 cables. The 2 BGM cables which we provide, that is for your throttle and your clutch safety switch. The third cable is going to be the brake cable, which runs from the swinging arm through either the tubes or just the hole at the back all the way to your brake pedal. Now I've already run the inner cable through. I will show you that setup in a second. This particular scooter did not have a brake switch, so we've opted for a banjo switch, which will just connect into these wires on the inside here. When it comes to installing the brake cable, it will already be connected to the hydraulic master cylinder. It will be fed through the adjuster on the swinging arm. The outer cable, we provide you with a full length to go to the pedal, depending on the model that you get. This particular model has tubes in the frame up there, so you can cut your outer down to suit once your swinging arm is in to see what length you need, and just feed your inner all the way through to your brake pedal. With the hydraulic brake system, if you do not have a brake switch, that is the banjo switch that we offer with the kit. Screws into the hydraulic cylinder, 2 wires go off, you feed them alongside that orange wire into the frame. Once you've attached your brake cable at your pedal and the cable is nice and tight, if the brakes don't lock the wheel straight away as you touch your pedal from this position, you can turn the adjuster out so that that arm sits out there where it wants to take, depending on how much it's bled. Some of them want to sit a little bit further forward, others will sit all the way back. Just depends on your setup and how much your brakes are bled. Step 4 is going to be the wiring. Now that's going to consist of the headlight bulb. We provide an LED. You don't have to use it, but it is much brighter and just more energy efficient. We also provide you with tail lights. Now to test this whole system, the best thing to do, get a 12-volt battery, get your wiring loom. You can disconnect your rectifier that you have on the left side of your scooter. You don't need it anymore. Again, where it goes all connected up. You can just join the wires however you want. This is just for testing. I will be putting proper connectors on this. So you take your 12-volt battery, connect it up to what should operate your headlight and tail light. The blacks are always going to be earth. With our kit, it comes with a yellow and blue wire. You can earth the blue if you don't want to connect it to these black wires. Usually they are connected to certain parts of the frame. You can leave them where they are. The other thing we're going to do is the horn. Now we provide this little black horn with a kit. However, you will have a horn on the front of your scooter. If your scooter's old, it's going to be 6 volts, so it will not work with the kit. You can leave that horn in the front, add 2 wires onto that, pull it to the back here, which I've already done. I've just added a red and a white wire to go along with the loom from the front. I'll be putting this horn in the back. You can also purchase a 12-volt clamshell horn or whatever style horn that you have on the front of your scooter. You can buy that to put that in front. Once you've installed the LED headlights, the two LED tail strips, you can now get your 12-volt battery, which I have over here. Connect it up to your loom just to test everything, make sure it works before you put the kit in and plug in the big battery. So the high and low is working, the horn that I've installed over here is working, and the tail lights. Let's just turn this. That works. Step 5 of the installation is going to consist of your control box, your TPS box, this plastic tub, and normally in your kit you would get this triangular plate. Now this plate holds the battery gauge. It would sit underneath your seat over here, so every time you lifted your seat up you could see your battery gauge, how much percentage you got left. Unfortunately on this particular model we've got a metal strut here, so we cannot install this plate. So all I've done is install the battery gauge in the plastic tub. You can put the battery gauge wherever you want on your scooter. This whole kit is customizable when you get it. So first off, we're going to start off with a TPS box. I'm going to show you where we normally install it. We are working on a new design of integrating it into the battery tray down there. Okay, to install this TPS box up here, you've already run your throttle cable and your clutch cable, which connects to this box. You can get your control box, which you're going to need for spacing out the TPS box in the correct place. Slip that in there, just roughly. Don't worry about all the wiring. This is going to come back out in a few seconds. Get your TPS box. It's got 2 bolts on the back. You can open this up, remove those 2 bolts if you want to make your life easy. Your box then goes up there. Your cables run up the right hand side of your scooter. They connect to this box once you've secured it all down. On this particular scooter, I'm going to go with the second option of installing a TPS box, something that we are still busy testing, which will be rolled out on kits over the next few months. We're going to move to the side of the scooter. We are trialing putting the TPS box on the battery tray plate. Makes connecting everything a lot easier. So what you want to do is open up your TPS box, whether it's inside the cavity or on the outside. Lead your throttle cable out your air intake and your clutch cable that we provide. You're going to want to cut this down to length. Now the throttle, make sure that the outer cable is butted up in your headset. Measure this cable up to the TPS. It butts up in there. Leave a little bit of slack as you want the cable to curve through your frame freely. So all I'm going to do is stick the inner through. Now the outer is butted up inside there. You'll want to get this little connection that's going to slip into the hole on the TPS, and you feed your cable through. Now when pulling this tight, you do not want this to move whatsoever. You want it to sit in a position where there's no tension on the cable. Pull your cable a little bit tight. You just don't want any slack in your throttle. Tighten it up. Test it before you cut the cable. Before cutting the inner cable, try and solder it, put a bit of heat shrink over it if you don't have a soldering iron, and cut it once you've heated the shrink up. It just stops the cable from unraveling. With the clutch cable, it's the exact same thing. Cut it down to length, put it in the adjuster. Make sure to pull your inner back so you don't cut your inner. In your TPS box, on this piece of string, you'd find a little connector. Now this connector might be exposed like this, or it might have a plastic cover on. You can connect it up with either. All you'll want to do is take your inner cable, feed it through, the white plastic piece on the clutch safety switch, and out the back. There is a little hole over there in the box. Once that's through, just hold your piece of string, pull the inner cable, and it should all snap into place. Once you've got the inner cable all the way through the box, you can take a pair of pliers, a pair of vice grips, try and lock the cable off in that position so that it's not loose, and make sure your string is through this connector. You're going to want to slide this connection back, put a little bit of pressure on that spring. Keep in mind you need to keep the string tight. Don't pull it too hard because you will activate the switch and your clutch safety switch won't work in that case. Now with it held slightly, you can take a pair of long nose pliers, hold the connector and then tighten it. Don't tighten it all the way with your fingers there, as the screwdriver might stab your finger. Once that's all connected up, take a pair of pliers off the back, check that it works. You're going to listen for a clicking sound when this moves. Now you're going to want this to click on and off. You want to click when you pull it in and a click when you release. That means the switch is working as it should. Once you've made sure that the clutch safety switch is working, your connection's nice and tight, you can get a bit of heat shrink, put it on the inner cable. Now in order to cut this cable, you're going to want to pull your clutch in, because you want to leave a bit of the inner cable sticking outside of this box. So once you've measured up, you've put a bit of heat shrink or soldered the tip of your cable and you've cut it on both sides, just give it another test. That should be the end result. Once it's all sealed up, that's how it should look. Bit of clutch cable sticking out the back. Your wires for your TPS and your clutch safety switch run into the frame through your old air intake. And that is all there is to setting that up. Moving on to the control box, you want to reconnect your motor to your control box. 3 simple wires, they're color coded, and 1 plug. So blue to blue, green to green, yellow to yellow, and connect the plug. Now there is 2 plugs here. They're both exactly the same from the hub motor. One is for one set of hall sensors and the second is for a backup. So if for whatever reason a set of hall sensors does fail on the motor, you have a backup plug to go to and the motor will work again. Let's put the control box into the frame. The flat bit here is going to lay with a mudguard inside. That is the position of the control box when it is sitting inside the frame. Like an old SIM card, can only go in one way, cut out towards the bottom. Make sure that the cavity is clear so you can slip the control box in, and make sure you have your little TPS plug out of the way. So once you've got your box fitted, I prefer to leave the cable around the outside of the box. Give it a nice tight fit. You can take your battery lead, fish it out your air intake hole down here towards the battery tray. Once you've fed your battery cable through your air intake, it should be on the side of your scooter by your battery tray, alongside with this little plug, which is for your charging circuit. Now you're only going to get the corresponding wire that connects to this when you install the tub. With the 12 volt wiring, yellow is 12 volt positive, blue is 12 volt negative. You can earth this blue wire if you would like anywhere on your frame, providing your loom has already been earthed. Now what I've done is I've stuck all the blacks together. They would have been earthed. I'm going to stick my blue wire with them. Now the 12 volt positive with my power wires that I've put together. Now you'll be left with a black and a red wire. This is 70 volts high voltage. These wires do not mix with the yellow and the blue. This is for your battery gauge. They'll hook up directly to your battery gauge. You'll also have a 2-pin plug and a 3-pin plug. So the 3-pin plug is pretty straightforward. 3-pin to 3-pin. You cannot mix these plugs up. And the 2-pin plug, 2 green wires from your clutch safety. So I've slipped the tub in, I've installed the battery. I'm now going to turn it on with the key fob. As you can see, the headlight's on, horn works, battery gauge is in here, that's all there is to it.